What's up, guys? Welcome to another exciting edition of Real Estate Podcast, episode 308. I'm here with Griffin.
I'm here with Trav.
And kind of like with Adam's intro, I don't know what the fuck is going on with this goddamn movie we just watched. But I'm here with Adam.
Yeah, you mean like a really big horse?
No, it's an elephant. And he's like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. Flip side to side. He just told you.
Yeah. Is that an elephant?
God, he wasn't even listening. I like the way that it opens.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
Like, you know, the way the truck pulls up, he gets out.
Oh,
Yeah.
you mean the way the rest of the fucking movie plays out? Like, God. Like this. Yeah, so this week we watched Babylon.
Yep.
Babylon.
I made a movie about making movies.
I mean, that's somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly at the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, just the fuck early Hollywood. Fuck that noise.
Dude, out in that field,
Yeah.
you got like 20 fucking sound stages. Well, no sound stages.
Yeah.
So many people died for no fucking reason other
Yeah.
than just coke fueled stupidity.
Well, he was drinking on the job.
Yeah.
Well, no, like the dude they find impaled, and they're like,
Yeah, and they were like,
he
he's a
kinda ran
drunk.
into it. He
They're like,
kinda
he's a
ran into
drunk.
it.
Yeah. I mean, what PETA? You know, what OSHA? Like, what Film Actors Guild or whatever it's called, Screen Actors Guild. Like, they were just out there doing whatever with no... Like, dude, he sat in there and rewrote the whole movie and was drinking the whole time. And by the time they got ready to...
smashed.
Yeah, by the time they got ready to shoot, he couldn't even walk.
No, dude, when he
Like-
said action,
Oh, he was
he
straight.
fucking, we got the
Yeah.
shot. Like,
I mean,
it was kind of crazy to see that transition from, you know, silent to sound and like how they really couldn't pull it off. Like, they were huge
yeah,
as long as they wasn't fucking speaking.
yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting because I never would have thought about it. You know what I
No.
mean?
Well, like you were saying, with them all getting smashed and everything, and then when they said action, it's just there he is, you know.
Yeah,
Like, kind of shows you that like these people gave a shit about being in the business, but they're all their lives were just a complete shit show.
It's Babylon, dude.
yeah,
It really was.
yeah,
I mean, so much like debauchery, dude.
yeah. It was just one giant party. You know?
Mm-hmm.
That
Every day.
never stopped. Like you were trapped in an LMFAO video, like that Key and Peele skit, dude. Like
Yeah.
the party just never ever stops.
No.
Before I watched the movie, I'd seen some clips, and I saw somebody talking about the main character, and that scene where the scene they were talking about was where he gives the guy the charcoal,
Oh yeah,
you know, that,
yeah,
and how uncomfortable. And I was like, it was uncomfortable, dude. Like, but it like
yeah,
this guy would do anything to
Yeah.
make it. You know what I mean? Like just anything.
Yeah.
And in the end,
Yeah.
it just fucked him. Well,
Yeah.
he kind of got away and started over, but you know,
Well, it was just a series of just really poor decision making from start to finish, man. Like, because the big freak out scene when they're doing the sound, and it's like
yeah.
that guy's like, "Shut the fuck up! Shut the
Yeah.
fuck up!" Like, just that's that. Yeah, like it was. If someone
was so
causes us
hot
to
in
cut
there
this
and-
scene one more time, I'm gonna shit on you. He just.
As soon as she opened her mouth, he's like, "Well, I got to replace the capsules
yeah. She just blew the
because
capsules
you
out.
bring it down some. Too quiet. You missed your
Yeah.
mark. Well, can we just move the microphone? It'll take a couple hours." Like
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
whoa, we're not used to this.
No. No, not at all. It's like, I don't know, man. It's just the growing pains for the industry was there, but it's approached in such a different, like from the point of view of the people that we saw, it was approached in a different way. You know, of course it was a different time and everything, but like,
Yeah.
Could you imagine that if something like that happened now? Like there was a huge, like imagine if we went from consuming our media from watching a monitor or a TV screen to having like a holographic
Yeah.
projector,
Like the
and
big
how
change is
awkward.
coming for us soon.
Yes.
We'll see that in our lifetime, like something that's you
Yeah.
put glasses on and you're just there watching. Like
Yeah.
it's like you're in the room.
And imagine how awkward something like that transitional period would be. Which, like I said, I mean, there's things in effect to like help people and to help that transition. They were just winging it. Like they were just figuring it out as they went, and like that created a lot of innovation and stuff that comes along with it. But at the same time, like how many lives were ruined in the process?
Yeah.
How many people died
Well,
because of it?
they were winging it even when they were in silent film, man. Like,
Was
Yeah.
a little more forgiving.
well, like just on a physical harm level, like just like in like near the beginning of the movie, man, when they're filming that big battle sequence,
Oh yeah.
and those people were just they fucked each other up,
Yeah,
man.
they were
Like it
like
was a real
junkies from
battle.
Skid Row. He's like, they're freaking out, and he got that fucking pistol. He was
Yeah.
on that horse. He's like, I
Wrangling
like
them
that
up like
guy.
cattle.
He's out there, pow, pow. Like, he would do
He's like,
anything.
see, Manuel's great.
Yeah.
They're just like,
Brad Pitt did a good job
Yeah, he
playing
did.
that. He kind of looked like Gone with the Wind.
well,
What's
to be
that dude?
honest
Oh.
with you, to
Oh,
be honest
shit.
with you, Brad Pitt was the more disappointing of the performances.
Art Gable.
That's it.
You know,
Well, he was just too laid back. I mean, just
well, it's almost like he was still channeling Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which wasn't a bad performance,
yeah.
but that whole yeah,
Well, the way
I'm
that he acted with
about
all this
that.
crazy
I'm
shit's going on,
yeah.
like he just been around it so much that
He's
he didn't.
desensitized.
Yeah, dude, he didn't fucking bat an
Yeah.
eye. Like,
Oh,
No.
when he's on the phone and that spear just lands in the
Yeah.
pole by him, and he's like, oh, whatever. And then he just looks at me and goes, I'll take the money that I got and saved you and fucking go invest in this instead. And it's like, God damn.
Yeah. That and then like Margot Robbie's character,
mm-hmm.
like I mean that's the definition of getting too big too fast.
Yeah, we've seen that
And
happen
then
with people where they get burnt out, and
yeah,
back in the day, the older actresses like
yeah,
they get drugged out,
yeah.
and then nobody wants to fuck with them. Like,
For a split second, I was like, are they going to kill Margot Robbie off? Like, with like almost an hour of runtime left? Like,
Yeah. No, it took a left turn.
suck out the poison. You know?
That was fucking crazy.
that was
They're at the
crazy.
yeah, they're at this party and there's like, you want to see my dad fight a snake? And they're like, oh, fuck yeah. They all load up and
Yeah.
drive into the middle of the fucking desert and find a rattlesnake. Like, what?
Yeah. How long had they been looking?
Who
know?
who knows,
How fucking coked out were they? You know?
All the coked out.
When she fucking
When-
heard them though,
when-
when she's in the bathroom and they come in there and they're talking about her, I was like, fucking
Yeah.
bust out there and give them the what for? Like,
Yeah.
don't let them know you fucking heard that shit. That's
Yeah.
when she's mad at. She's looking at her dad over there, and he's like, "I got this idea for that." He played that part perfect.
Yeah.
That fucking,
right.
And when you see him at the beginning, she leaves her house. It's like there's needles.
Yeah.
Dad's
Oh,
passed
yeah.
out.
Heroin.
Yeah,
But it's very interesting just from like a fan of film and seeing like
yeah,
the transition. That was interesting in and of itself. And then just like them kind of capturing, because we've heard stories and stuff about, how crazy things were and kind of still are to an extent, and like, but not like you think it's a rumor, and it might be. You think that it might not be real, but like he captured the spirit of it perfectly.
I mean,
I think he did, but
he's
like,
heard the stories.
Yeah.
but the thing with me though is that like the movie almost gets like that. The first hour and a half to 2 hours, it's almost too much. Like you are so
There is a lot going
overwhelmed
on.
by what the fuck you're looking at on screen, dude. Like you're just like, like just the fucking opening of the film before you even see the damn title card. By the time that flashed on screen, I'm sitting there mouth breathing like, what the fuck did I just watch? Like,
Yeah.
and it was something I was talking with Griffin before he got on, Adam. I feel like for a movie as long as this, what subtle details and nuances did I overlook in this
Oh yeah,
first
it
viewing?
could definitely give you some replay value because it's so hard to keep an eye on everything. Like,
Yeah. And that's another thing too. Hats off to like the choreography and cuz dude, there was some like ridiculous shots where there's
yeah,
so much shit happening that it doesn't seem real.
Oh,
It,
like
it
when they're like that party sequence when the camera is following these people,
yeah,
and then it just backs up and shows the whole room, no cuts
it was
whatsoever,
cool.
and then
Yeah.
it zooms right back down in and gets back into the bullshit, and you're like, that was pretty cool.
yeah.
The shots they were doing with the big bands, where the guy was like, "I think you got the camera pointed the wrong place,"
Oh yeah.
and it was
yeah.
like, and I remember, you look back and you see those big band. That
Yeah.
used to be a thing they just did. Like, you'd have a big fucking like a jazz band playing, or
Yeah.
and it was a lot better than watching them sing. It was like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is. He was like, I'm not gonna stand there in fucking raincoat, man. Like,
Yeah.
singing in the rain.
When everybody was when it cut to the part of the movie where everybody was, I guess you'd call it the day in the life segment, where it'd be like 8 a.m., then 9 a.m., 10 a.m., lunch, that type of shit. Well, like right before that, they had that little sequence where you saw that brief moment of everyone's downtime where they're all passed out, or it's when Brad Pitt falls into the pool and goes, and now I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
In his wet clothes.
You're like, God. Well, I felt bad for the jazz musician because he just goes into that building, pops up in a chair, throws his jacket over like covered siestas, man. Just to get up
Gotta
and
be
go
back
do
at the
that
party
shit all
tonight,
over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I like a documentary called The Cutting Edge.
Yes.
About movie. They interview a lot of people, but there was one thing
Jonas
they
had a-
talked about. Yeah, they like these movies you'll see where they messed up. Like you saw the microphone or
Yeah.
a little gap where the guy hits his head in Star Wars. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't expect these movies to be played at home.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't a thing that they were thinking. It was like they'll go to the theater and see it, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And then
It's over.
VHS comes along, cable.
Like, wait a minute.
Well,
That was
like,
cool to see how they cut it though, and
let me do
title
some
cards
numbers.
and shit.
Yeah.
They were just filming a cardboard.
Yeah. They painted the fucking words on it.
Just
It's
filmed
like,
it.
yeah. And it's so crazy, man.
So this movie took place, or it started in 1927, right?
Yeah.
50 years later, we get Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long time, but that's not a long time.
Not really.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in the grand
That's
scheme
crazy.
of things, like, yeah,
How fast it went. Like, and movie make it. Like, dude, another thing, like, another big step up for actors that was an issue was 4K.
Yeah.
Because you could see everything. Like, all the fucking scars on their face. And,
hmm
that was a big thing. Like, a lot of them didn't like
Yeah,
that when it went to 4K because it's hard to make. You really have to
well, they
make
can
up
see the
hard
craters.
for 4K. Yeah.
Like they could see where you had acne in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that shit shows. And so, I mean, yeah. So I would imagine that would have been like, I feel like switching to 4K because of that level of detail that they can see now. I feel like for AAA productions like big budget movies and all that bullshit, that makes their pre-production even more expensive now, because now you can't just throw a sheet and call it a toga. Like you got to actually make it fucking like a toga for this motherfucker,
Yeah.
Or like if it's or if it's any kind of war piece, be it pre or post industrial revolution. Like the armor's got to look right. Like the level of accuracy and detail has to be. It starts with the pre-production now instead of just because the cameras are so goddamn good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they shot this on film, by the way.
I mean,
It looked great.
You could kind of tell, yeah.
Yeah, it looked great. The lighting, like, it's just hard
Which
for
is
digital
crazy.
to capture that. Like, it looks damn good, but it's like something's about film.
yeah. And you're watching all this unfold. You see Manny, like, he steps up in the world, all this kind of stuff. Like, there's a couple of things before we get into, like, the crazy shit. He made it. If he
Yeah.
would have just, like, he wanted to, like, I don't know. It's like, was he in love with this
He
chick?
was.
And it's like, dude, let her go.
Yeah, she's
Like,
no
you
good.
don't need, yeah, you don't need to deal with this shit. And he's like,
Yeah, she was crazy when if she's crazy when you meet her, she's gonna be crazy when you leave her. Like,
but
and not just her, it's anybody,
yeah, yeah. And like, not only that, but it's like he had a great idea. He's like,
Mhm.
we're gonna bring her in. We're going to, give her a part that's gonna like be out of her comfort zone, out of her normal thing. Like it's gonna be this whole and like genius. How many times have we seen that happen?
Yep.
Whenever we read movie news and they're like, "Oh, they cast this person for this? What? Like
Mhm.
how's that gonna work?" And it's like, "Oh, they kill the performance,"
Mhm.
And like she tried, he tried, and like it just fell apart.
Well,
If
when
he,
she fucked that up, that should have
yeah,
just been it with her. It's like, dude,
yeah,
I mean, he would have still been
yeah,
working there.
exactly.
He would have been like a fucking, CEO
Yeah.
or
And then to like her gambling, and then he's like, "We'll figure that out." And it's like,
He-
bro,
He went full Ren and Stimpy for her. Like
yeah,
whenever Ren gets all the money and
Mhm.
Stimpy's like, "What'd you do with it?" And Ren's like, "I threw it all away." And everyone's like,
You idiot. Fucking I thought I'm over here like, dude, just call Brad Pitt.
yeah,
He'll help you. He'll give you the money. He's got it.
oh yeah, yeah,
I thought that's what he was gonna do.
yeah. I thought and that was another thing too. It's like Brad Pitt's character kind of got him into it. I thought that like he was going to try to do
Yeah.
the same thing with him,
Like
and
build
kind
his
of bring
career
him,
up. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and
return the favor.
yeah, but and then like this club where they go,
Yeah.
whatever it's called,
The
whoa,
fucking count.
yeah.
No way I'm going.
Fuck
He was like,
no,
we really
dude.
gotta go. And this guy's like, come on, bring that money.
Yeah,
And it's like,
yeah,
He's like, this is the only place you can have some real fun now. Like as soon as he
Peaceful.
smiled, it's like,
yeah. No, I'm good. What was it? It had ether in it.
They were
Isn't that
drinking
what they-
absinthe.
Okay,
But yeah, it did have ether.
yeah,
Absinthe mixed with a little ether. And it's like,
Yeah, they weren't just a little drunk. They weren't drunk. They were in another dimension.
yeah,
it's like, I got some movie ideas. And that always, it's like, oh, fuck, here we go.
yeah. Here we go with this shit,
Dude, he's like, yeah, I got the money. It's like, what's fake? He's like, what?
Yeah, why
Where'd
didn't
you
you fucking?
Where'd you think I was
Yeah.
going to get? It's like, what? I said money, not prop fucking money. It was like, whoa.
Yeah,
I would have shot that motherfucker right there.
yeah,
I'm like, we're dead, dude. That was straight nutty.
yeah.
Mhm.
I wasn't expecting it to go off the rails quite like that.
And I
Like,
kept
I was
waiting for him to show up
Yeah, yeah,
because of the shot in the trailer,
yeah,
Well, like they made a point too to show you that they all had a level of greed about themselves. a level of narcissism
Hollywood.
too. Like, yeah, man, like just and yeah, I'm still trying to process it. I'm still fresh off the damn viewing,
Yeah.
and my mind is just full of like, what the hell does like if like who would really want to live that sort of lifestyle, man? And I know that there are people that are actively doing it right now,
Yeah.
but like just really like just processing all that type of party, and even
Yeah.
if it's not as over the edge like that,
I couldn't
just
do
the
that every
fact that
night.
you're just constantly around all these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
It's loud. Everyone's raucous. It's fucking
Just
you know, you
leeches
can't.
too. Like,
Yeah, someone's constantly coming up with like, "Hey man, I got a treatment for a movie." And you're
yeah.
like, really? I just spent 15 hours on a set. I'm trying to get fucked up, man. Like, and you coming at me
Yeah.
with this?
That scene where the guy calls and he wants him to do a movie and he's like, just be honest with me and shit, ain't it? Like,
Yeah.
the guy's like, I mean, you be doing me a favor. And he's like, I'll do it. Thanks for being
Yeah.
honest, you know? And then he's sitting there like saying his lines and the director's like, that's okay. We're going to do that again. And then he'd go over to the actor and he's like, you know, because this guy's really acting.
Yeah.
And he's just standing over there like, motherfucker, I made Hollywood.
Yeah.
I'm Jack Conrad, motherfucker, you know?
Yeah.
That was depressing to see him.
It
I
was.
knew, dude, when he gave that guy that money,
Yeah.
I was like, he's about to kill himself.
Yep. He straight checked out. I get it though.
Yeah. Like, had all the money in the world, but it's like now he's a laughing stock. Like,
Yeah.
I love you. I love you. He's sitting there watching it and everybody's laughing. It was like, oh.
It's rough.
His wife was like, you should go to the theater. It's like, yeah, dude.
Yeah. It was good though, man.
Yeah, dude. When he goes in there to get the camera and the guy's like, hey, he wants to know if there's a difference.
Yeah.
They're like, they're so camera nerdy. Like,
And I mean, it's definitely one of those films. Like I was telling Griff, man, and I think no, it was just a few minutes ago. I think we like it just I'm gonna have to watch this movie again. Like, I rarely find myself thinking that, especially when it comes to a really long film,
Yeah.
because usually with a movie like this, you know, with its length being as it is, you're usually good at processing and digesting everything to where when it's over, you're like, all right, that
Yeah.
was it, you know. But this shit had a lot fucking going on, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the story was there. It was simple enough getting across. You know, you had Manny rising up. You had Brad Pitt's character realizing he ain't quite like he's fading out.
yeah.
But like, just the imagery is just so it's sensory overload, man.
Same cinematographer that did Last Man. First Man,
Man.
not Last Man.
Man, those camera shots where the cameraman is manually holding that
Yeah.
fucker on a swivel and spinning it with precision, you know, that was crazy because you'd see those shots every now and then.
Yeah.
And yeah, like as far as on a production level, movie was peak.
Yeah. And the only one that got out okay was the trumpet player.
Yeah.
Like he got fucked over in a different kind of way.
Yeah.
But he didn't have to leave the country. He didn't shoot himself. He didn't die. Like he still did his thing, man.
As humiliating as it was, what he went through, he was able to remove himself from that area and still have his dignity.
Yeah.
Where everyone else just devolved into
Yeah.
gutter trash, man.
Yeah. That scene with the party, the upscale party,
Mm-hmm.
like that was probably the most uncomfortable
Talking about
thing
that
in the
upper
whole
crust.
movie. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it was. And they were looking at him like their eyes was saying trash.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah.
Hate being around people like that.
Hmm.
I know.
She did the right thing though. She's like, "You want to see fucking pig or slob?" Whatever she said. And it was like, "Yeah, you're going a little overboard here." Like,
Yeah.
dude had to pull a lot of strings to get you in here.
Yeah.
She gave him the what for, dude. Then threw up.
Yeah. Walked back inside and threw up. It's like, damn, girl. Damn, girl.
Yeah, there was like some
What the-
Rockefellers in there and
Which-
shit. Like,
When she first shows up to the when her first appearance in the movie, and she hits that statue, that one lone statue. She's like, "You're doing a shit fucking job because there's just statues popping up all over this motherfucker, man." It's like,
it's like, where's the drugs at? There's a whole room back here.
oh, dude, and he gives them the fear and loathing rundown. He's like, "There's your ether, there's your coke,
Yeah.
your heroin, make your selection."
It was good though, man. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And
One scene that was really good that still stands out to me, man, is that scene at the beginning when her and Manny are they go into that drug room,
Yeah. And they're talking
and-
about where they want to be. And
Yeah.
watching him slowly get coked out, like
Yeah.
that was crazy. Like that, like it seems subtle, and I don't think a lot of people probably picked. I mean, they probably
Yeah.
obviously did, but like everything from like he started talking, he was like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
this that," and then he's up on his feet, and then the jacket's off, and then
Yeah.
he's like his words start. You know what I mean? Like that was just a damn good, well acted scene.
those cocaine conversations hit different.
Well, I mean, it's different than seeing a run of the mill one where they're doing blow and you've got
Yeah.
the one
Rubbing
guy
their
doing the
teeth.
and he's doing the whole like actually seeing like I guess the best way to put it is it was very Tarantino-esque,
It
very
was.
dialogue driven, very wordy, very like back and forth. Well, like almost like a real conversation where she's like, "Nah, motherfucker, tell me this," you
Yeah.
know, and he's like,
What do you
"Oh,
really
well,
want?"
I'd like."
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just like that scene was probably one of my favorites just because of its nuances and how subtle it was.
Yeah.
That elephant trunk smacking that dude.
Yeah.
He's like
right.
fucking waving it off. Dude, I didn't understand. I was like, why is he throwing this hay at the elephant's ass? Like, what's this helping? And then that thing shit all over him.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, we got a camera lens.
A
covering
close up,
shit.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. They had a glass in front of it. It just hit it. It was like, oh. Ain't no way they would get that elephant up that hill.
No.
No.
Not with those cars. I'm like, dude, just fucking ride it.
Yeah. Right.
It's an elephant.
Or I don't know.
Dude, where the
Walk
fuck did
it
they
up
get
the
an
hill.
elephant?
Like, here's the thing: elephants are equipped to travel vast distances.
Yeah.
Just give it some food and lead
Tie
it
it to the
fucking like.
back.
I mean, goddamn, everybody's played enough Minecraft to know you just hold out the hay and let the fucker follow you.
Well, dude, they're like out in the middle of California somewhere, and I'm like, where the fucking elephant come from? Like,
Yeah.
how'd it get
Yeah.
here?
Oh, but yeah, dude, that motherfucker's reaction. He was like, "What the fuck is that?"
This is a fucking horse truck. It's like, well,
Yeah.
it's a really big horse, my friend. Come on.
How good was that dude though?
Yeah.
The guy that played Manny was incredible.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him in anything. If I did, like, this is the first time
was
he's on my radar now.
Was he
Yeah.
the meta of the movie? Like, was he the new guy that's the new star? Like, genuinely? Because I don't
Let's
recall
see.
seeing him in anything else either. Like, I feel like he maybe made a crossover from TV or something.
Yeah, he was in the Bird Box spinoff.
So he was in Narcos, Mexico, Beautiful Losers, and then a lot of stuff from Mexico.
Oh, okay. So this
Yeah.
is his first American picture, I guess.
Yeah, born in '92.
Heard.
other than the Narcos. That would have been
in Mexico City. Yeah.
dude.
He knocked
Somebody
it out
he
of the
saw him
park.
on Narcos and was like, I mean, he was perfect.
Yeah.
Dude acted his ass off. I believed him. Like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see more of this dude. He killed it. He killed it, dude.
What other movies has the director done? Because for some reason,
Whiplash.
I thought this was
it's that guy.
okay.
Yeah.
No wonder that claustrophobic
Yeah.
and intense feeling was there. Because, like, that dude can nail that type of shit, man, for real.
Did he do La La
So-
Land? Or
Yeah,
was it
okay,
the
so-
cinematography? Okay.
For writing, he did Whiplash, The Last Exorcism Part 2, Grand Piano, Whiplash, 10 Cloverfield Lane, La La Land, and Babylon. And for director,
he wrote those.
Yeah.
yes. But for director, he directed Whiplash, La La Land, First Man, the Eddie, 2 episodes of that miniseries, The Stunt Double, it says video, so I'm assuming it's a short, and then Babylon.
I mean, not a bad little
Right.
resume, man.
Yeah.
First Man, I still
Oh,
that
yeah.
movie's cinematography was amazing.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought this was a Sam Mendes movie, and I don't know why.
That's what made me too. When I saw those clips, I looked it up online. And I'm like, who's this director? I click on his name and I saw Whiplash there, and I was like, I'm watching it today.
Yeah.
Like that made me want to watch it even more. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta see this. And like,
Yeah.
what a spread!
Yeah.
Like Whiplash,
this-
First Man.
Well, this
This
movie
movie.
kind of had. This movie kind of was the anti-Whiplash in a way, where in Whiplash it crescendoed up to this really suspenseful moment where, you know, Simmons and what's his name?
Teller.
Yeah,
It's Miles Teller, right?
yeah, where Teller and Simmons have their big jam session, you
Yeah,
know,
that
and
was
he
epic.
goes the distance, you know, yeah.
Epic.
And that's where it ends on a roar like that. Well, this movie's the opposite. It starts with a roar
Yeah.
and withers
And it's a-
slowly. I mean, it keeps that intensity and that craziness throughout, but by the third hour, things have mellowed. It's not at the loudness of the beginning.
Well, it's like
To
you
a
see
degree.
the plane crash happen in the first 30 minutes, and then you see the fallout.
Yeah. You see where all those pieces are landing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well done. Loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll absolutely say it's one of those movies that I wouldn't have necessarily gravitated to had it not been for our conversation's sake.
Yeah.
But it's one of those movies I feel like I would have gotten to eventually.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's a drug-fueled fever dream from start to finish, man.
Yeah, for sure.
About making movies. Cool to see that. Like, we've seen a lot of movies about making movies, but this one's like, this guy's like, watch this.
Yeah.
I'm going
you
way
ain't seen
back.
nothing yet.
Dude, like all those
Baby.
people that were watching a movie with sound the first time, I was like, I bet that was mind blowing.
Yeah, right.
Like the look on their faces. And then when it
Oh,
went
the whole-
off, they started
the-
clapping. The whole audience was just like, yes.
Oh, the singing in the rain sequence and how it cuts to all that other stuff and then it comes back around to it.
Well, I was talking about, remember when he's like, he sends him out to scout it because they're like, film industry is getting stale.
Yeah.
And he's like, he needs something. Something's going to change. Like, we need something big. And they're like, oh, we got the first motion picture coming out with sound.
Yeah.
And like, that didn't even register. Like, sound? Like, yeah, people are going to be talking. There's
Yeah.
audio now. But when he goes in there, remember he hangs out with that chick. And then when he walks in there, everybody, like the look on their face, like people are crying.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, that's cool.
This is something that I said the other night, Trav, and I want to see if you agree or disagree. Did the ending of this film, like from the time that he walks into the movie theater, sits down and has the realization of what he's watching, and then it starts cutting to all the stuff that he's been through, and then it's got the flashes of the colors, and then it's got
Yeah.
like films coming out in the like modern day films, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
T2, that to me was so 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh yeah, it was almost like it almost was, you could look at it almost as an homage to that.
Yeah, for sure, right?
Like the movie was meta about movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
I was just whenever I saw that, I was like, this is fucking brilliant. Like he just went full 2001 on a
Fucking
movie
star
about
baby.
about
Yeah.
making movies, you know?
Yeah. I
Like,
think there was
whoa.
even a clip from 2001.
Yeah, I think
You see
so,
that
right?
float down the hallway,
Yeah,
like going towards the thing, and it's like, that's 2001. Yeah.
yeah.
Because that, he had to put like everything he put in there was like game changer movies.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it was like a little love
T2,
letter to Hollywood,
Avatar.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, that Avatar plug. I was like, but it was
Yeah.
a big,
yeah,
when Avatar came out, it was huge. Like,
yeah.
Well,
Massive.
any movie, it had a movie where somewhere, some shape or form, it provided a technology that
Yeah.
took it to the next level.
Yeah.
I give it a
I
star,
loved
man.
Yeah, I'm giving it a star. I'm giving it a big elephant turd.
Normally, a movie like this would get a half from me.
No.
But because of what it is, because of, all that, everything we've talked about,
Yeah.
that in itself is why the movie's deserving of the star. But I give it a star with an asterisk. Long movie, long.
It is long.
But if you enjoy movies and you're the type of person that enjoys the making of, if you're I'm talking to whoever might be listening to us. If you're here like I think you're here,
Yeah,
this is the movie for you.
it is.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
listening
Like
to a
you-
movie podcast,
You at least owe it to yourself to watch this movie. Even if it's the one time, even if you give it a one and done, though, I would implore that this movie absolutely deserves a couple viewings to fully digest everything. Yeah, watch this movie.
Great stuff, man. Mandalorian, though.
wowzers.
Dude, how in the love of God do they continue to one up
I
themselves?
mean, dude, great episode.
It's every single episode that comes out. It's like, that was probably the best episode. Nope. Wait. Nope. This is the best. Nope. Like, I loved it, dude. Everything from just like the action, the dog fights, like it was so Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Like
it's what we've been missing.
Yes. And- Oh, go ahead.
One thing, well, I guess it's I don't know whether to put this in the review or to use it for movie news, but it was something that I had noticed throughout, like, just like my little Star Wars deep dives I do from time to time, like watching interviews with the actors, Lucas himself, all that kind of stuff, man.
Yeah.
What we're seeing with The Mandalorian and a lot of these other shows is we're seeing Lucas's original vision that got thrown out the window by Disney.
Yeah.
We're seeing it being brought back by Jon Favreau and
Mm-hmm.
Dave Filoni in serial format, and I am along for the ride. Like
for
the
sure.
light bulbs clicked for me.
Yeah.
Well, with
The
every
sequel
episode,
movies-
dude, they prove that they need to be running.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
Star Wars.
despite where you sit on the sequel trilogy, in reality, the sequel trilogy is the sequel to George Lucas, his vision.
Yeah.
Because the three movies that he planned for Disney or pitched or had written and everything, the stuff that we're seeing, the plot points we're seeing built upon through the Mandalorian universe, Clone Wars, Rebels, all that type of stuff. All like while there's obvious more stuff added to it than Lucas had intended, some of the beats that those movies that his proposed movies were going to be are plot points that are actively being developed on right now. And so, yeah, like Favreau and Filoni are finishing Lucas's vision in some shape or form.
Yeah. And I mean, who better to do it? You know, like that. I don't know, man.
Wait,
And
though,
I
let
mean,
me.
dude,
So did
Yeah.
wait? We got this Mandalorian group, and when she's like, "Take your helmet off," I was like, "It's a test. Don't do it." You know?
I was
Yeah.
thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I was like, "Mm." But I get what she's saying. And she's like, she walks both. Like she can get the people that'll take their helmets on. We need all we can get because we're badass. When I was like, "We fucking Mandalorian army showed up. Let's go," and they were doing the fucking
but isn't it?
finger signals.
But it's kind of a prick move to Din Djarin.
Yeah,
Because he just did all this
Yeah.
shit to redeem himself.
well, that's for
when-
him.
Yeah.
But he could have been. But we all know that he's a unifying person.
Yeah,
We've seen him bring towns, cities, different walks of life together for the greater good in the past 2 seasons of the show.
Yeah. But
So-
at the same time, though, think of his demeanor and disposition whenever he has had interactions with Bo-Katan, just because of their differences on how they view Mandalore and the Mandalorian Order and all that kind of stuff. It's like he would have been the perfect person to do that, but would he be able to put his differences aside and what he believes, because he believes it so intently, to be able
Oh,
to
yeah.
unify?
Because he's absolutely fundamentalist Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but I feel like the armor is moving pieces to cause some sort of conflict that's going to get one of her fellow Mandalorians killed.
well, that's what I was about to say a second ago. Like when they said that they got Moff Gideon, and he was like, Mandalorians. So that's the other group of Mandalorians, right? The ones that left her and took the ship.
Well, I think that might be a plant.
Okay, yeah, to target them. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I had a similar thing too because dude, that shot at the end when the Republic ship shows up to Gideon's transport, and you just see that ship slowly just come in from the moonlight, and all that, just that sequence, dude. How insane would it have been if it wasn't just that lone ship, but you see it come into view, and then you see a massive armada of fucking Star Destroyers just
Yeah, right.
slowly fade in, like it's the remnant. It's Thrawn and his fleet coming back from the Outer Rim,
Mm-hmm.
and they're because I 100% believe that Thrawn got Gideon, or someone in that whole circle of people busted Gideon out. Gideon's probably in the presence of Thrawn right now.
Yeah.
And I think because of the way Thrawn operates, I think he has observed what's been going on. He clearly knows what's going on. And yeah, I think he planted the Beskar to start to get the Mandalorians vilified and do all his shady, heir to the Empire level stuff going on.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to want his blade back
Yeah. Right.
for sure. But I thought for a second maybe they got him because, technically whoever defeats him and kills him would get the sword, right? And I was like, well, maybe that's what they're after. And then that fucking chick that fried dude's brain, she's up to some shit, dude.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
Like she's a plant, dog. Like
Yeah,
she
for
came in
sure.
there and was like, "Well, they're not part of the thing," and and he's like,
Well,
"Yeah,
she's
Tim, what the fuck was
well, think about this. She's
ladies'
there
man
and
doing there?"
she's there observing how the Republic
Cavassier.
operates.
Yeah.
And if
Well,
she's
and like she
reporting
was
back to
even had a little bit of
Thrawn,
influence on that decision. She came in there and just kind of
yeah,
shut that
and
down.
Thrawn was able to probably relay to her like, don't fucking do nothing, just keep observing.
Yeah.
Tell me everything you see.
Yeah.
All that type of stuff.
Well, it's interesting because, like in most Star Wars things that we've seen, it's always been we've got a spy in the Empire. It's interesting to see that the Empire has a spy with the New Republic. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's pretty fascinating.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
I mean, it could be. What did he do with the spear?
He melted it down,
Yeah.
made that
Okay.
armor
Grogu's
for
chain
Grogu.
melt.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, but I was trying to remember 100% because it's like it feels like it's a plant. The only thing that I can think is like if the episode wouldn't have ended the way that it would have ended, then you could go on the idea of like, okay, maybe some Mandalorians showed up and took him,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to use Moff Gideon as like a peace offering with the other Mandalorians or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it could have been something like that, but since it ended the way that it ended, it's really hard to kind of tell, like
Yeah.
what they're going to do moving forward.
Well, it makes you wonder because if you remember when he when he returns to the forge with that spear, the armorer makes a point to tell him like, as long as that spear exists, it's a danger to us.
Yeah. We gotta get rid
And
of it.
yes, so clearly, but yet it also is like, all right, well, she could still melt that down and make like the whistling birds, like that thing on his wrist, that like
Yeah,
the automated little,
yeah,
So I mean, whatever, but it assumes that as far as actual weaponry, Beskar's a big no-no
yeah,
for material for that. Like,
yeah.
never go full Beskar.
And I don't. I mean, maybe the chick's up to something whenever she's like Bo-Katan, but like, I don't know, man. If she is up to something and she's got ulterior motives, like she's done a really good job at like playing her hand really close to her chest. You
Mhm.
know?
Well, we're clearly seeing her being re-indoctrinated into Mandalorian culture.
Yeah,
And she's slowly becoming more and more of a believer. I think that's what the whole Mythosar thing was about. Like, when she hit the water and she saw that thing, that was like whatever crisis of faith she had, gone.
yeah,
And, she even kind of was skeptical to the armor as well when the armor was like, remove your helmet. She was like, what?
yeah,
Didn't we just have a thing where I just told you I did? Like it rendered her redemption thing completely null and void.
Well, to an extent, I think so. And it could be the idea of like, okay, the Mandalorians have kind of always done their own thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, they've like you've seen Bo-Katan go from like being an asshole, more or
Yeah.
less, like to being someone that's willing to help out, to saving Mando, to helping out save the kid. You kind of see her character transformation, but you also like from the armor's perspective, it's like we look out for number one, and they go on a whim basically to help Carl Weathers out,
Mm-hmm.
and what they
Mhm.
were able to accomplish. So it's kind of like it's opening her eyes up to the reality that's like, okay, it's okay for different people to believe different things as long as we
Well,
unify as a people. It doesn't matter.
that seems more so for the armor, I think, than Bo-Katan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I think the armor's having that realization, and I
Yeah,
think
like she's got to get with the times. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Bo-Katan is like she thought all of it was bullshit because she has that real like uppity, high class, high society kind of air about her. where she's
Yeah.
just like, I'm a badass. I know I'm a badass, and all this shit's bullshit, and we're Mandalorians. And then whenever she took the dive and she saw the thing, she was like, I'm an idiot. Like, this is real. Like, all this shit is real, you know? Like,
Well, like yeah, it was her moment, like in the sequel movies where Ford looks at Rey and goes, "All of it's real. The
yeah,
Force, the Jedi, like all of it."
yeah,
And this is coming from someone who isn't Force sensitive. Like the shit's real.
yeah. It's good, man. Like, I could watch this show forever. I don't want them to do it forever because, you know, but I could literally watch this show forever.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
the
absolutely.
the creature effects on this dude was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the
Like,
captain?
yeah, dude,
Dude,
I
I would like how it was
loved
like a
it.
ship too. That was so fucking cool.
Yeah,
Even his little buddy, his little Smee.
yeah,
That was
Well,
so
it
cool.
got
He was
it
turning that
got me
shit like,
it got me to thinking, man, if they'll drop that kind of coin for the pirate fight, dude,
yeah.
imagine when we get into a full blown war sequence.
yeah,
Like that's gonna look so good.
yeah. But yeah, how many more episodes do we have left?
I think that was 5, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we got 8
Yeah,
total,
8 total, I think. So,
so 3 more.
but
And
fucking, if
I mean,
you know what I'm
a
saying?
lot of shit's got to come to a head, man.
yeah,
But I mean, this show's always had breakneck pacing, but they've managed to balance it to where you don't feel like it doesn't feel like there's it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of chuffle, man.
no, not
No.
at all.
And I don't I really don't understand the criticisms for the episode that was where it focused on the scientist and the Imperial.
Yeah,
And I know that the main problem is because those are directly linked to the sequels,
yeah,
but they've came out. Favreau's come out himself and been like, "Dude, we've got to end it somewhere, and we've got to line up with the continuity."
yeah,
And I'm I'm interested to see what's going to become of that
yeah,
because, like, what was so unique about trying to get Grogu's blood?
yeah,
And I feel like obviously it's all pointing in the direction that it's going to show the early stages of the Emperor trying to get his cloning stuff going on so that he can, on Exegol and all that crap.
yeah,
But this is where all this needed context from those movies can be established.
hmm
Like they can essentially unfuck those sequels by what we see in these shows.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Like there's the absolute potential for it. Because people, and this was the theory that I had at work the other day. A lot of people have criticism on The Last Jedi because of Luke Skywalker's demeanor.
yeah,
So let's put our nerd glasses on and analyze this for a second. All right. Luke did not have formal training in the Force. Luke was trained by Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan was trained by Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon was trained by Dooku. Dooku was trained by Yoda.
yeah.
Yoda's not fucking human.
Well, and then Yoda also helped finish his training
But at
on
the same
Dagobah.
time, but if you recall, even when Luke was on Dagobah, there were moments where Yoda was like, "You ain't ready, motherfucker," and Luke's like, "Yeah, I am. I'm gonna go do it." Like,
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, we have the moment when Yoda passes where he's like, "I've told you all I know, and I think you're fucking ready," but
yeah, yeah,
my point being is that you have a lineage of Jedi that all were fundamentally going off the teachings of a 700, 800-year-old being.
yeah,
that has reached a level of inner peace with the Force that that a human could probably only couldn't even fathom.
Yeah.
So it was a flawed level of training that went through decades, generational,
Yeah.
to stay in line with George Lucas's like grand philosophy of like, everything is a generational story.
Yeah.
Like the original Star Wars is the byproduct, is the son aspect of the prequels being the father and the sequels being the grandchildren.
Yeah.
That, if you took that, applied it to the concept of the Jedi and how, or at least the Jedi that we're shown, because they're all linked in the same, they all had a sense of a father figure to these people beneath them. And I just can't help but be like, with that in mind, of course Luke would become jaded in his later years because he hasn't fully. He has, as much as he has mastered, there's so much of it he hasn't.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean he shouldn't be less confident and less optimistic, but because we still get that in Luke when we're seeing him in the Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. He's very confident. He's like, we're going to train Grogu. He's going to master the Force. Luke himself is a total fucking badass and does exactly what he criticizes Rey about in the sequels, where he's like, what do you think I was going to do? Just show up swinging a laser sword? And that's the first thing we see when he's in the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, at his age, he still had a product. He still had situations that could have absolutely made him a cynic.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't fully understand this argument that Luke is just bright and optimistic up to the bitter fucking end. But I don't know. I'm just kind of on a rant now, but I just feel like,
Yeah.
it's cool that we're getting it. Is I mean, and it's you can pull it up yourself. There was an article where there's this book you can get called the Star Wars Archives, and it's a big ass. It looks like a coffee table book, but this motherfucker's huge, dude. And in it, it gives the idea of what the sequel movies were going to be if Lucas had control.
Right.
And it was going to encompass Darth Maul ruling the underworld. It was like Darth Maul was going to come back and be the villain.
Right.
He was going to control the underworld. There was going to be rogue elements of the Empire trying to still, do its thing, which is the Thrawn, the stuff. Luke was going to be going around gathering up younglings to reform the Jedi Order. And all of those things is happening. Like, we're seeing those play out in the shows right now. Like Maul's, like through the events of the Clone Wars and I guess through Rebels, you see Darth Maul rise in power to being the crime lord, which makes me wonder if they would have to renege some stuff or retcon, I guess. I don't know the proper word. But it would be interesting if we found a way to where Boba Fett has to deal with Darth Maul. Like he's having to go consult the Fetts again for some reason or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he shows up and they're fucking dead. But he's like, those are lightsaber burns. I know how, like, I've seen those wounds on people. Like, that's a lightsaber. And you find out that, like, it's fucking Darth Maul.
Yeah.
And Luke, so far, the only times we've seen Luke was seeing him rescue Grogu to begin his training, him creating the temple. So we're seeing that part of the movies, the original scripts play out. So it's just it's like I said, once I looked into that stuff, man, the larger picture of what Disney's trying to do with these different showrunners, director, like it's all under Kathleen Kennedy, but it seems like it's Kathleen Kennedy, Filoni, and Favreau.
Yeah.
And they're kind of doing all of it. They're like, not only are we just going to do our quote unquote original ideas, but we're also going to do your shit too. We're just not going to invest movies into it.
Right. But yeah, I'm excited for the next episode.
For sure.
We got a little bit of movie news here. So James Gunn says it's hard for Marvel to make good movies after Endgame. So Gunn is moving away from the world of Marvel to concentrate on his new DC universe after the release of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That doesn't mean that he doesn't wish the world of the MCU well in the future. In fact, he really wants to see Marvel continue to thrive, but feels that post Avengers Endgame, that is something of a hard task. He recently told Rolling Stone, I really want Marvel to keep making good movies. I think it's really hard in the wake of the blip. There's this worldwide, universe wide event that happened. And in truth, everybody would be stark raving mad at this point. So it's hard to write stories in the wake of that, which is why the Guardians movies have been easier because they're set outside of that a little bit. Of course, Gunn has always kept the Guardians' adventures on the fringes of the bigger picture, and even though they have been tied to the Infinity Saga in the past, they were never completely immersed in it until Avengers Infinity War, despite things like the Infinity Stones turning up and the subject of Celestials being part of the storyline long before Eternals arrived. That kind of unconnected connection looks set to continue in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And I mean, I agree to an extent with what he's saying because it's like we really didn't get to see the the reality of the world after the snap happened because the snap happens at the end of Infinity War and then it goes straight into Endgame and it's been like what 5 years since the snap happened, and then they do everything that they do and then everybody comes back out of nowhere, and you kind of see like each person dealing with it in their own way whenever they write these stories, but you never see like how it was dealt with when everybody was gone, like really dealt with. And you also don't really have a lot of time to dial into the idea of like how do we deal with this post bring back, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I get what he's saying with that because it is something that's very like, wait a minute, how do we write this? How like there's people that
Well,
have trauma and stuff associated with it, but like it's hard to really dive into that whenever you have a world to save or a town to, you know what I mean, or
yeah.
whatever.
Well, and I think for all the grand picture that we're getting out of it, they haven't neglected that. Like in
No,
WandaVision, we saw what happens. Like, and it absolutely when the blip is reversed, the world's on fire for a split second. People are snapping back into existence.
yeah,
Like shit's just like it's the snap, but with people coming in instead of out.
yeah,
And they even acknowledge that like for 5 years the world's just really fucking bleak.
yeah,
Like no one knows what to do. Like because and I thought that the beginning of Endgame uh kind of sort of showed us that. Like we have the shot of Captain America sitting with the therapy group, and it's like how do we live with them now that they're gone, that being on one of the posters.
yeah,
So I don't think they've entirely left though. And even more recently, it's a plot point of how we get to like why Kingpin's doing what he's doing. Like he was blipped out, and when he came back, he had no control over the city anymore. So he's back to square one.
yeah.
And
No,
like
no,
yeah,
I get that 100%. It's just like, are they going like other than the Disney series, right? Are they going like in film? Are they going like what kind of presence is that going to play inside of it? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because like I mean, we've gotten Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and Shang-Chi, and like one or two more, and it's like there's mention of the blip, there's all this stuff, but you don't really see like, you know, like the full on like reaction to it, I guess you could say. You
Oh,
know what
I
I
mean,
mean?
there would be, I mean, I think there's room for a great street level hero movie taking place during the blip.
Yeah.
And it would be, I feel like that would have been a perfect avenue for the Netflix heroes.
Yeah.
Like Daredevil, like seeing his story playing out while we know the reason why he's not getting help or why New York's not getting fucking completely decimated by aliens and shit is because they're all fucking gone.
Yeah.
And so he's just dealing with the crime element that is just like, because obviously half of all life's gone. You know, what if New York had no police? What if all the law people were gone? And so there's just a level of lawlessness in that the street level vigilantes had to fucking come together and, you know, fix the town and go fucking seven samurai on the place, you know?
That's what I was really hoping the Hawkeye series was going to be. Because, during that whole situation, he was Ronin and he was like killing people like crazy. You know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah.
I was really hoping that we would have got that story play out. Like him dealing with like how he is now with his family back and everything. And how that contrasted with how he acted and the things that he did in that 5 year that his family was gone. You know what I mean?
Oh, and
That,
that would have been a really cool way to machete order some of the stuff. Like you
oh
watch
yeah.
Infinity War, all right, everybody's gone. Watch Hawkeye. Hawkeye's
Mhm.
dealing with the blip. Watch whatever show and film. Then you get Endgame, and then you get the big payoff.
Yeah.
Now, the biggest problem that validates what Gunn says though is that I think just the technical achievement and the narrative achievement of pulling off Endgame, because that took damn near 30 movies for Endgame to make sense.
Yeah.
Because out of context, Endgame's a fucking stupid movie.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if you're sitting down with somebody they haven't seen a fucking Marvel film, period, and you pop Endgame in, the movie's stupid because there's no context. There's like you're watching the third act of like a 30 film story, you know?
Yeah.
And I know that that's a very specific circumstance for Endgame to be a quote unquote crappy film. But as time goes on and the Marvel universe is just there as just like a part of the big pantheon of movies to pick from, there's going to be eventually a generation of people that just pop Endgame in for the first time. Don't even bother with Iron Man,
Yeah.
much less all the ones in between. And people
Right.
are going to be like, and I'm sure it's already happening now where you have people kind of backtracking from the catharsis of watching Endgame in theaters, and they're like, you know what, this movie wasn't really that good, and it's like, well, it's because you need context, Howard, context.
Mm. But
Because
yeah.
because like with us having stuck through all the movies throughout all these years, the big portal sequence when they all come back it hits so much harder knowing
Yeah.
you've seen every hero that is showing up on screen, you've seen the story with them play out.
Yeah.
Like, and it makes it so much more impactful as opposed to just like, oh, Captain America's buddies, they didn't die, they're back, awesome, let's fight the
Yeah.
big guy on the hill now.
Right. But yeah, I think that there's definitely challenges ahead of them, and I think that hopefully Guardians of the Galaxy 3, like, because don't get me wrong, like Doctor Strange was amazing, Shang Chi was amazing, Spider Man was amazing, but they were set in that weird Phase 4 middle ground.
Well, it's the morning of Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like, we're whenever you're watching those like all the movies and the shows that have come out post Endgame,
Yeah.
with the exception of Black Widow, obviously,
Right.
all of it takes place post Endgame. So we, the audience, even now, it's been several years since Endgame hit theaters. Everyone is still wanting Iron Man back.
Yeah.
Like you're still grieving it like it was a dear friend. Like, and if you're, if you're immersed in the movies,
Right.
and it kind of reflects how you would lose somebody.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like yeah, these really eventful and impactful things are happening, but you've already been rocked by the heavy foundational shift that's happened,
Right.
and you're not gonna, and it's not gonna hit the same.
Yeah.
So I think when we finally get around to Armor Wars, that's gonna be the final, like, all right, guys, shut the fuck up about Iron Man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So next up here, Heat 2 is in the works at Warner Brothers with Adam Driver eyed to star. So the long gestating Heat sequel has taken a big step forward. According to a new report by Deadline, Warner Brothers is now officially in negotiations with Michael Mann for the filmmaker to return to the director's chair for Heat 2, nearly 3 decades after the release of the original film in 1995. The news follows the release of Mann's Heat 2 novel, which was released to high sales last year, perhaps giving the movie version the momentum it needed to finally get its way out of development hell. The novel will likely serve as a blueprint for the movie version of the follow up to Heat. Hold on. These stupid ads. According to a new report, at least one big name is also already in negotiations to potentially take on one of the starring roles. Adam Driver, one of the stars of Mann's next film, Ferrari, is said to be up for the role of a young Neil McCauley. In the original Heat, Robert De Niro played career criminal Neil McCauley opposite Al Pacino at LAPD uh, Lieutenant Vincent Hanna. The story follows the conflict between the two sides. When previously speaking about the potential film with Empire, Mann noted how recasting would be necessary at this point. I love those guys, but they'd have to be 6 years younger than they were in Heat, Mann said, of possibly bringing back De Niro and co star Val Kilmer, though Kilmer has said it'd be fun to get involved in Heat too. I love Michael Mann. Um, we get along great and have a great deal of trust, Kilmer told IGN. So it's going to be a prequel.
All right. Heat's a good movie.
Heat is an amazing movie. I think we need to pod like
We
it.
do. For sure.
I haven't watched it in a very long time.
Fucking rip Tom Sizemore, though.
Yeah, I know, right? Those conversations that De Niro and
At the tables?
yeah, dude,
there's
they were
several in the movie.
Yeah, so good, man.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, Al Pacino,
yeah.
you know?
Ooh, you know I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. But yeah, that's interesting though. And Adam Driver, I mean, it could work, you know,
Yeah.
like he's good, so he could do it low and slow, you know? I got my eye on you, fucker.
Yeah. Got my
So,
eye,
you know,
Rick.
yeah. So next up here, Jamie Campbell Bower to lead classic horror movie remake. So Witchboard is set to return with a remake led by one of the stars of the moment, Jamie Campbell Bower. The 1986 classic will join Halloween, Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, The Chainsaw Massacre, Child's Play, and many others in a list of horror stories that came back after several years. Campbell Bower, recognized for recently playing Vecna in the fourth season of Stranger Things and for his role in big franchises such as Harry Potter, The Twilight Saga, and Shadowhunters, will be in charge of starring in this new story, according to Deadline. So this is the outlet has also shared the plot details for the project. So Emily, her fiance Christian, and a group of their friends open an organic cafe refurbishing an old carriage house in New Orleans, French Quarter. But a darkness descends over Emily when she discovers an ancient pendulum board once used to summon spirits. Christian seeks help for Emily from occult expert Alexander Baptiste, but Baptiste has secrets of his own, knowing the faithful bloodlines that binds them all to the witch board, a modern coven of white witches. A masked ball at Batista's mansion and the legacy of Naga Soth, the queen of the witches, are all part of a dangerous game that puts Emily's very soul at risk. Chuck Russell is set to direct. So yeah, I thought that was Witchboard. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Maybe
Dude,
I have.
that's a deep cut,
Ouija
man.
board movie.
I remember my dad had an old VHS copy of Witchboard.
Wait, I think I have seen this. This cover looks familiar.
Oh yeah.
Okay. If I have seen this, watching it now would be like the first time.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but that's cool. I mean, we might have to check that out. You know what I'm saying? So next up here, Avatar 2 writer takes over Marvel's Fantastic Four movie and scriptwriter change. So it looks like the changes are being rung on another Marvel movie with Snowpiercer's Josh Friedman boarding Marvel Studios' Fantastic Four movie as writer. Friedman, who also had a hand in Avatar: The Way of Water, takes over from previous writers Jeff Kaplan and Ian Springer, according to The Hollywood Reporter. While this kind of change is nothing new for Marvel, it does suggest that the film's tone could be changing to something more serious. Marvel movies. I am going to. Okay. Marvel movies have always towed the line when it. These ads, dude, they cover the articles up.
Yeah, I know.
When it. Marvel movies have always towed the line when it comes to balance between drama, action, and comedy. While many movies have managed to hit the balance just right, others, such as Thor: Love and Thunder, have been seen to push the comedy side of things a bit too far. Previous Fantastic Four writers Kaplan and Springer were best known for their comedy writing and some of their other upcoming projects, including Disaster Wedding and the Rebel Wilson's vehicle K-pop Lost in America. However, Josh Friedman is more of a dark sci-fi veteran whose credits include co-writing Spielberg's War of the Worlds, Terminator: Dark Fate, and adapting Bong Joon-ho's Snowpiercer for TV. Having constantly worked in this kind of genre and also being enlisted by James Cameron to help on the Avatar movies, it would suggest that Fantastic Four movie could still include some of the standard Marvel humor, but could also be heading down a dark route than it was originally headed. WandaVision helmer Matt Shackman is still expected to direct the movie.
Yeah, I'm looking at dude's credits, man, and
Why have they entrusted next to Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four is probably one of Marvel's nearest and dearest properties. Why would you put the writing of this movie into the hands of either side? Like both groups of writers, like it don't add up.
Yeah.
Because if we're going a darker route, then why didn't we just let Josh Trank make his fucking movie, dude?
Yeah.
Because that was
Yeah.
supposed to be full on body horror Fantastic Four, which I
Right.
really was hoping like we would have gotten his vision out of it.
Yeah.
Like I loved the idea of like them coming back from the experiment. Johnny Blaze is just on the ground, humbled over on fire, like he's just a dead, burning body for a second. Like the Thing is just rubble. He hasn't created a tangible form yet.
Yeah.
And Mr. Fantastic is like, why the fuck is my arm like on the other side of the room?
Right.
Like they could have made that horrifying, but then curbed it into like, no, man, like you didn't get cursed, you got powers, dude. Like you're you're a cut above now.
Right. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, like, I think that Avatar, I think that Fantastic Four is that film for Marvel. It's like, other than Blade, you know, how many things have we covered in the past several years where they've had constant rotations of directors and writers? Like, people want to work on Fantastic Four, but it's such a it's such an important group and it's such an important film for Marvel that if they screw it up, then that's going to be that. You know what I mean?
I mean, think about how many times they've tried to make the Fantastic Four now, and each one of the movies that there's elements of all those movies that were good, but there were large chunks of it that weren't.
Yeah.
And I think instead of focusing too much on where the humor should go in a comic movie, let it be organic. Let it
Yeah.
be let the humor come from the fact that somebody is playing that character to a T, that when they react to something, it's fucking hilarious because it's like, of course that's how this character would react. He's a fucking X, Y, and Z, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's what I think that's one of the main points that makes Drax's character so funny, and the way Batista delivers the line and everything.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he has no concept of human humor. Like,
Yeah.
so I mean, it's just you would think something like this, like if Feige is the be all end all for Marvel,
Yeah.
while he might not be a director and be more of a businessman, with his apparent level of fandom, you would think there would be certain properties where he's like, I'm going to be on set myself with this one. Like, this movie can't afford to fuck up.
Right.
So I'm surprised that there aren't films necessarily where Feige is like, they're on set, like, nah, man, cut that now. Like, that goes against the lore. Like, full on George Lucas in the project.
Yeah.
Because there's some stuff that, yeah, let a director do their vision, but with the Fantastic Four, it's kind of hard. It feels to me like it's kind of hard to let a director or a filmmaker do their vision when the Fantastic Four is a very particular, like, it's just such a ridiculous comic, of course,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's just I just feel like there's a lot at stake with it, clearly.
Yeah. Well, and it's
And
the same with Blade, right? It's like
oh yeah,
people want to be associated, they want to do Blade, but they want to do it right. And I don't know
but
if it's as much as like these
now,
people stepping down and handing the torch off because of intimidation, or maybe their vision doesn't equal up to the vision of Marvel overall.
well, like I feel like with the Fantastic Four, it doesn't need to be grim dark. I mean, I get that like if they go a darker route, that'll obviously visually translate better, but there there definitely has to be a level of lightheartedness just because of the way the Thing does his fucking delivery, you know, just the way he talks. And I guess that's the hard part too, is bringing a comic where if you're going to cover areas like from when that comic was first getting printed and you're trying to retell some of those stories, translating that dialogue into the modern day.
Yeah.
Because I mean, for all the nostalgia and the fun that the Fantastic Four is, like, it's from that era of comics where the writing is now cringy.
Yeah.
And now, and one thing I would argue with, well, not argue really, it's not an argument, but the beauty about Blade, though, is Blade doesn't have that kind of history behind it.
Yeah.
And Blade has it's more open to interpretation because there's not really a whole lot of Blade publications.
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely there, and there definitely is some source material to pull from, but not on the level of Fantastic Four material that's out there, you know?
Yeah. Well, we'll see what they end up doing with it. I mean, like I said, I think that they have a good enough sense about themselves, and maybe, it might be self doubt or it might not be like priorities have aligned or direction has aligned. But I think that, like, at the end of the day, I think it'll be fine.
Well, I have faith in the movie to the extent of knowing that dude that directed WandaVision is directing it.
Yeah.
Because WandaVision was great.
Oh.
Yeah. Right.
Ah.
Wanda. Ooh. Ah.
Oh. Great.
But I mean, dude,
ass.
but if we're gonna move on though, Griffin, we're getting it. We're finally getting it.
I know, right?
Like,
I'm ready for it.
yeah, roll us in, Griffin. Bring
So,
the carriage home.
so Batman Part 2 will reportedly include a live action Clayface. So, in some form or another, it looks like we could soon be seeing a live action version of the DC supervillain Clayface. Recently, it had been reported that filmmaker Mike Flanagan had pitched a Clayface movie to Warner Brothers, but that project didn't seem to land. A new report from Deadline shed some light on Flanagan's pitch, noting that the studio hasn't officially said no, though such a project hasn't yet been greenlit at this time. The report also clarifies that the Clayface movie pitched by Flanagan was not meant to be a part of Matt Reeves' Batverse with Robert Pattinson, though it's not clear if it would be for a Joker style standalone film or if it'd be connected to James Gunn and Peter Safran's DCU. In any case, the new deadline report.
When you say Gabe's John,
James Gunn.
Gabe's John.
My dyslexia kicked in for a second there. In any case, the new deadline report also divulges that while a screenplay hasn't been finalized, Clayface is a big addition to Matt Reeves' The Batman 2. If the shape-shifting supervillain is in fact intended to be introduced in the sequel to The Batman, that could explain why producers are hesitant to simultaneously give the go-ahead to a separate project from Flanagan that focused on the character. In any case, Clayface movie is something that Flanagan's had on his wish list for a while, and it would seem that he's getting closer than ever to turning that into a reality. Well, I've wanted to do a Superman movie since I was a kid, but I would also be really keen to do a standalone Clayface movie as a horror thriller tragedy. Flanagan tweeted back in 2021. So, before we even just get into the fact that they're considering bringing Clayface into anything, what if they decide to, what if they're working with Flanagan right now, or potentially will be working with Flanagan, where it's like, we got Penguin and the Batman, they're doing a Penguin series. What if they decide to do Clayface and Batman 2 and do a Clayface series? I mean, that would,
it's there, yeah. It's absolutely on. Like, I could see
yeah,
them doing that. But what makes this more important to me, though, is that with Clayface, it would clearly mean that he's going to deceptively use Batman's rogues gallery against him. Or at least that's the accessible way, I would think, of introducing a character like him to the general audience.
yeah,
And
absolutely,
that opens a fucking cameo fucking treasure chest.
yeah,
But I mean, and they don't even have to even do that. It would be fitting for the Pattinson Batman, because if he's going full blown detective, having to narrow down a person who can shapeshift,
yeah,
that would make for a really intriguing detective story.
absolutely. And it would be very interesting if, like, the idea of Clayface, like the idea of a shape shifting type character is something that could be really cheesy, but it could be pulled off to great effect if it's approached correctly and done correctly. And I think that, like, leaving the audience in suspense and the whole
Oh
time you're
yeah.
watching, you're questioning, because, I mean, we're
I
going to
mean,
know.
it could technically be Batman versus the Thing.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Like a version of the Thing that can fucking talk.
Yeah.
Like, so imagine not only the psychological thing of not being able to trust who you're talking to because you don't know if it's Clayface fucking with you or not,
Yeah.
but the fact that like you can do that and then have that verbal psychological element added as well.
Yeah. So
And
that,
and considering this version of Batman, Reeves has shown to be incredibly, like, everyone's aware that Batman is mentally unstable, but he just
yeah.
keeps it together really well.
Yeah.
Not in the Batman. Like that, like this Matt Reeves
Hmm.
iteration of the universe is they're really showing you just how mentally just stretched like this Bruce Wayne is.
Yeah.
And yeah, being able to dive into the head game and being able to take a character like Clayface and maybe utilize that in some way,
Yeah.
it would be really cool, because it would beat having to just default to the Joker for the head game Batman story, you know?
Right.
Because as much as I love that, and that's always a fun story that they could just keep throwing at me all the time, and I wouldn't get sick of it. It is nice that they could bring in these more lesser known villains and making them, more of a household name, or at least attempting to.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fascinating. I'm very interested to see Clayface. I think that's going to be really interesting. Create some great storytelling with that.
That's going to be some really easy cosplay.
I know.
Just go roll around in the mud. Who are you? I'm Clayface.
Yeah. You're either, let me guess, Pigpen or Clayface.
You're
They're
like,
like,
fuck, you know who Pigpen is? Damn it,
yeah,
I thought I was coming at it with the
exactly.
cool,
Exactly, dude. This dude just hit me with the Pigpen, bro. But yeah, that was all the movie news that I saw. I mean, of course, there's stuff talking about Ant-Man, future Marvel stuff from that direction, post Ant-Man stuff, and that'll be coming out soon, right? So we'll be able to dive a little bit deeper
Mm-hmm.
into some of those topics. So that's going to be fun.
Skirt.
Oh yeah, I'm
I
ready
actually
for
had a
these.
little tidbit I want to throw here at the end. I thought this was kind of cool, like how we just watched Babylon,
Right.
about filmmaking and all this stuff. Warner Brothers was founded April the 4th, 1923, 100 years ago today. And I thought that's kind of cool that that just lined up,
May it rain
where we
for another
watched
100
the
more.
movie about old Hollywood on that day. And when I went to their Wikipedia and started looking around, dude, there is 211 lost films. There are movies that were made and either they just didn't survive. Most of these they're really old, like 30s, 20s,
Yeah.
like
But still, though,
didn't survive, like either the, fires,
yeah,
old, film got fucked up. Like, I'm like, that's
yeah.
crazy. I thought that
I
was
wonder
cool.
what kind of ridiculous fucking movie we lost, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Out of 211, there had to be one of them that was just fucking bonkers, man.
I know,
Yeah, they were
right?
like, there's no footage, there's no trailers, there's no nothing. They're just lost.
Wow, that's insane to think
Yeah.
about.
Do you know if there's any information on whether or not any of the paper trail for those movies still exist? From a script to,
Oh, I don't know. I just went. From there. I went to IMDb because it gave me the number.
yeah.
You could scroll. They're all very old. Like some of them came out like, and the company was founded, but they were making movies in like 1916.
Right.
But it said when they founded it was April the 4th, 1923, and then they released their first movie with sound either 1928 or 29. I think it was Noah's Ark.
That's crazy.
Well, think about like back in the day, like whenever the motion picture first started, and you could literally just go walk down the street into a cinema, pay like a penny,
Yeah.
and watch a movie because I don't know, it's rainy and you just had nothing better to fucking do.
Yeah. I want to be a movie star.
My grandfather did that when he was a kid. I mean, he was born in 43.
Wow.
And he would go down there, pay a nickel.
Yeah.
50 cents would get you Coke, popcorn, candy.
That's
I
crazy.
mean, the whole experience for 50 cents, dude.
Now it's $50.
All right.
Yeah. These times they are changing.
Biosphere. Viva los Biosphere!
Yes, yeah. All right, let's fire it up here.
Let's see it.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play.
Got
So
Mark Duplass.
I'm dubbing tonight Tasty Trailer Tuesday.
Dropped it because it's got the guy from the league. Great show.
Oh yeah.
It's fucking Biodome.
Well, they were fucking playing NES.
Yeah. They found the Super Nintendo.
I wonder if they're in one of those habitats where they're training
Yeah.
to be like on Mars, but like they're really just like, I don't know, in the Nevada desert.
Oh,
I do want to
YouTube
watch it.
found
Yeah,
a
that
way to
looks-
turn annotations back on.
I'm down for anything that's like we're all stuck in this fucking thing. You can't go outside, and the mystery is like what's outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like those movies never get old to me.
Dead Ringers? Is this based off of that? Wait, what?
It's about somebody getting hit really fucking hard, dude.
Mm.
It's a dead ringer.
Y'all ready?
I'm ready. Yeah.
Or someone who's straight peak at the Duncan booth.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play.
Jeff Bezos. Oh, it's a Noxinamon from
Pop,
Mummy.
pop.
Rachel Weisz.
It's like a remake of a David Cronenberg movie.
Like Stepford Wives. So deliciously perfect.
I've never seen David Cronenberg's Dead Ringers.
No, I don't think I have either.
1988. Mm-mm.
Oh, y'all are for real? This is based on a Cronenberg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the D script.
Animal human hybrids?
Stars Jeremy Irons.
Oh, we'll probably see like human chimeras for sure.
Don't
Is
know
she
what's
playing
going
a
on there.
dually?
I think so. She's in love with herself.
They are twins. They are twins.
Mhm.
You ask them if they both want clone goat. They both say yes. How in the hell? They are twins. I think it's a little too soon to be redoing some Cronenberg though. Like he holds up,
Yeah, I agree.
35
but I mean,
years.
sure, it's still do what?
35 years.
35 years, still not long enough. Actually, that's 35 years. Yeah, they could redo. Which I mean, dude, why not just redo The Fly? I mean, that's the
Yeah, right.
hit. That's the top 100 of them. You know. I mean, don't get me
Rumble
wrong.
The
Don't get me
rights for
wrong.
Dead Ringers is probably a little cheaper.
Yeah. I mean,
It looked like
We
a
can't
made
get
for
that-
TV movie when I looked it up.
which didn't Cronenberg direct Burroughs' Naked Lunch?
Yeah, I think so. Those are Cronenberg.
Yeah.
flicks.
That was a
probably a
wild
lot
movie.
easier. Probably a lot better than that butthole being like, "Hey, could you put some of that on me?"
Hmm. Clock.
Oh
Is
yeah.
this a Coldplay movie?
All right, 3, 2, 1, play.
Yep, told you. Let's go around the county. Oh God, this is one of those movies. Have a baby or you're useless. The biological clock is ticking, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's about to get weird.
We're gonna make having a baby terrifying.
Sensory deprivation tank. It's the mom from Hot Chick. What? Oh. Reset the cock.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
It's a movie written by someone who grew up on horror stories about like this is like it's written by someone who had a parent that was like, "Don't ever have kids, you'll fucking regret it. Don't ever do this. If it
They're
ain't a
smoking
pack
a
of
cigarette,
smokes,
yeah.
yeah. If it ain't a pack of smokes, I don't want it.
We could barely feed it when it was a baby. They
It's
took
just
our
a ba-
baby.
It's just a bag of cells.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you were." That's what that kind of. I mean, and like it's gonna make for. It looks like a cure for wellness, the pregnancy version.
Yeah, right.
Looks like she's possessed and it's wanted to have a kid.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's
just
like you
have
don't
one
want a
already.
baby.
What if they had
Will you
something where
have
they
one
give it to
if
you and
it's
it's
the
like,
devil's baby?
you're possessed until you have it, so you're like, okay, I'll do it. Goddamn, you know. Drops of God.
Cool.
It's not
Didn't
Drops
know
of Jupiter,
Train
but
had a new. I was about to say, I didn't know Train had a movie.
yeah. All right, 3, 2, 1, play.
He stabbed my cross with a little old spear to make sure he's dead, and he hit the ground. Ay, 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 ay. A little too sacrilegious. In the world. This is a Merlot. You serve it with seafood. Ooh, manga?
Mm.
That looks interesting.
Do you
Just
like?
need to-
Will you try the wine? What movie was that from?
Oh, what was that? Extraction. Is this the Hemsworth?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
remember
it's
watching
the
the first
Hemlock
one.
Man.
Hemlock
the
Grove.
Thor. It's the Thor.
Clockwork Orange.
It's the next mission, dude.
Try the wine.
I mean-
Clockwork Orange.
Oh yeah, yeah,
This is the rich guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like
Yeah.
more wine? Yeah.
Mm.
Try
the
wine. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
That's a bull.
Coming in with the save.
I Googled it.
You were like, try
Yeah,
the
man.
wine.
That's
in
all
all
I did.
caps.
Just type that in. And I looked down, saw the guy sitting there. I was like, oh, yeah.
I'm glad that I'm not the only one that really just stuck out and burned itself into my brain. 'Cause that's always was. It was a jarring moment. Like you knew why it was setting up, but then he just goes, "Would you try the wine?"
Did y'all watch the
Gross.
first one?
I
Yeah.
did.
I saw it. Yeah, let's check this. I think we did it on the pod,
see.
right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Let's see what the Russos
Alright.
are cooking.
3, 2, 1, play.
Gotta let them cook. Move. I'm the doctor. Run for your life. Emma? Nope, not in this movie.
Pull pin. It's a crazy shot, man.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What? Wild shot.
Yeah, right.
All that pull, dude. The way they edited it out from being the
Yeah.
chest cam,
How
to
it pulled
the-
away.
That was cool. Fuck that right shield. That's why you squat up with it, bro.
We have fire. He is beating the
thanks to this
shit out of
trailer.
people.
Thanks to this trailer, we don't have to watch the movie now, guys.
I mean,
Yeah,
Dude,
right.
violence, violence, violence. Like,
rated R. 2 stars.
I mean, that trailer looked that trailer was better than the whole 2 hours of the first movie.
I'm excited to peep that.
I mean, I'm down for any of those long sequence like action shots, dude.
I haven't seen this trailer, but I've seen a lot of buzz about it.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
I like the first comment when the guy's like, just when you think it can't get any more Wes Anderson, it gets more Wes Anderson.
Oh
I
god.
mean,
That screenshot alone screams Wes Anderson, you know?
Yeah,
the color.
it's like
He's like, I want
symmetry.
pastels.
I want nothing but symmetry in every shot.
All right. 3, 2, 1, play.
It's one Bill Murray cameo away from being Wes Anderson. Or Paul Thomas, whatever. God damn. I don't know if I'd even like this.
oh God,
Wait, so this is
distant future.
post-apocalypse? He couldn't have the rights to Fallout, so
What?
That fucking general, that's that dude from Westworld.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh. Michael Scott.
I mean,
And Jeff Goldblum. Looks interesting.
yeah, I'm down for Wes Anderson weirdness, you know?
Yeah.
I'm down with it.
I mean, it kind of just looks like Isle of Dogs reskinned in live action.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, I'm
Oh,
for it.
yeah, sure.
There was a lot of chartreuse.
Hypnotic.
We got a Ben Affleck
It's-
movie.
And it's directed by Robert Rodriguez.
What?
Yeah. Pretty sure. Pretty sure.
Lay it on a scat cat.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. It is Robert Rodriguez. Only an hour and a half.
Is this Gone Girl?
Low and slow. The fuck is happening? They hypnotizing people?
Yeah.
The fuck is happening? That made me feel like I was high.
Yeah, right.
It's like a Christopher Nolan movie. Yeah. These motherfuckers got MK Ultra.
Yeah.
Where is she? See what I mean by Christopher Nolan?
Yeah.
The buildings moving and shit. All right.
Doesn't look bad.
No.
I'd peep it. Hypnotics. Spooderman. Across the Spooderverse.
I gotta watch the
have-
movie because the style
Yeah.
looks so cool, dude.
I know. We need to pod it, man.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it
That
either.
first one was a trip, man.
I'm for it. But yeah, I'm ready for it.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. It's like 12 frames.
Well, what's crazy is depending on what part he's going to be in is going to depend on the frame rate. Like,
It looks so good.
Yeah.
This is the lobby.
That's $20.99, dude.
Yeah.
I love that they lean into those memes, dude.
Let me guess. That looks wild.
I'm for it. I need to watch that other one, but it looks amazing.
That other one is a very pleasant surprise, Griffin. Like, as far as like who they're having to deal with,
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's meant.
This is gonna be wild.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for this teaser. That
Yeah.
other one was
I never thought
crazy.
I'd ever be in a universe where Griffin's excited for the Barbie movie.
I mean, that last trailer was
Yeah,
gold.
they got me on that 2001 shit.
Well, let's give her a go.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. I don't know how I feel about them fucking with the Beach Boys. The fuck is happening?
Wow.
The level of innuendo is gonna make this funny.
Yeah. I mean, I do want to see it,
For
man. It
sure.
just looks so goofy and good.
All right.
I haven't watched this Blue Beetle trailer yet. I'm pretty excited to peep this thing.
I'm gonna count it down. 3, 2, 1, play. Huh. Check out George Lopez.
Yeah.
He's got a mullet. That looks so cool.
Yeah.
Miho? What? Oh. This trailer just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like,
Whoa.
It's 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 Spider-Man meets Deadpool meets Iron Man with the power set of the Green Lantern.
Yeah.
the trailer looked good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes me
Dude, when
wanna
he
watch
makes
it.
that fucking Buster Sword,
Yeah,
shit.
nice choice.
Right.
That song was like, damn.
This ain't what you wanted. This ain't what you wanted.
Batman's a fashion. I was not expecting that.
There's always the low blow to Batman, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen The Secret Invasion either, so
Let's fucking peep it.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, play.
Since you've been gone.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Kelly Clarkson.
I think this is gonna be our forward chapter to the next Captain America movie.
Ooh.
That's not Nick Fury. That's Shaft.
You damn right.
Hmm.
Tagline: Hell hath no fury.
It looks good though, for real.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah. I'm for it.
Oh, and it's a series.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's time for some violence.
Oh, I'm
yeah.
ready. Why?
Just a teaser. You
Leave
know,
it
something
alone.
light. I didn't want to drop like a 5-minute trailer.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
lot
You
of
know.
them are really long.
I mean, you could have.
Yeah. I got a music video.
It's
I almost
sad when
put it.
that
I thought it
trailer
was a trailer at first. I was like, oh,
when
this
that
is a
trailer
song.
is optional, you know.
Yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1, play.
Mountains, skyscraper.
Oh,
What the
That's
fuck?
what made me do it. I saw that and was like, I don't even need to see it anymore.
Got that tobacco outlet chain on the wrist.
Mark's Imports, dude. Jason Momoa.
We have 6 types of papers to buy from. Kiss zigzag goodbye.
There's a music video out for this.
don't. Oh no. Okay.
He's gonna stand up and fight.
Is this a different movie?
I know, right?
Bring it on, man.
It's a cock, it's a key. Bring it on. He's so fucking serious. He said it in English, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the people can understand. I'm here for the child.
For the Americans in the back. Bring it on.
Yep.
What's up, Netflix?
And so about these recommended trailers that I had into this one, Prem Batandan, woman
Mhm.
stretched out on that bed where it's like, look at my ass, and it's like, shall you click it? Every
All right.
man has a choice. Succumb to the clip bait.
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
Mandalorian.
So, it's a heads up about Winnie the Pooh. I've heard it is fucking dog shit.
I mean,
Not just on a critic level, but on a like. There's movies that are so bad they still have entertainment value, and then there are movies that just plain they just suck. I've heard this teeters to the suckage, but we shall see.
I mean, the thing is like my expectations for this are beyond low.
Yeah. they're
I
pretty
mean,
low.
it's fucking Winnie the Pooh horror film. I get
Like-
it,
Yeah.
but
I did
You
see a
gotta
lot of
call.
comments on it where people were like, "This is terrible." And the guy, like, someone replied and was like, "What do you think you were gonna get?" Like,
Yeah. So
it's like,
that's where I'm at with it. Um, hoping to be pleasantly surprised.
but I ain't holding my breath.
Griffin's
saying?
gonna come in next week and goes, it gets the fucking coveted real estate golden honey pot.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real, right? I had a honey of a good time over here, you know? I pooed all over myself. Anyway.
Checks in the mail.